Welcome in the latest episode of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, presented to you by the Ben and Pitch Podcast Network. I'm your host, _G Warner, joined by a very patriotic Big East Ben. We went one on our best bets on our return to YouTube. Hopefully, all of you love the reel that I cut as well, and I'll be trying to do that to make sure we get it out for our best bets on tonight's episode. We're going to go through four of the biggest games of college basketball this weekend, and Big East Ben will give you his colorful thoughts as always. Should I be putting on my NFL gear too right now? What's the deal? You going to a football party on Friday?
No, I just want to support the team. Got our first win in the playoffs since this show has started. So big game against Houston. I know you're team agnostic, so I don't know what your NFL gear would be.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one on Saturday. That Texans defense is legit. Obviously, the Patriots' schedule is a concern. Um,
Here
the
we go.
offensive line has to. Oh, Niners, McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, baby.
When'd you get that?
My friend was drunk and this was his jersey and was really pissed off about the Niners. He said, "You wear it." And I was like, okay. And then he forgot to get it back for me, and it's like actually authentic, like stitched in.
Yeah,
I
mine
imagine
too.
he's gonna figure out I have it, but he might also think he lost it. So who knows? But yeah, so I guess we're going NFL jersey since this is a pretty big NFL weekend. But this is the college basketball podcast. There's an NFL episode out with Andrew Schnicker on the same website. Wherever you get your podcast, Ben in the Pitch, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Also YouTube at the real_G Warner, and of course follow at Big East Ben across all your socials. So we'll start with one of the bigger games on our list. Ben, he always
Can
says,
I just
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you for a second?
Sure. You always can.
So we were texting in the Stiffy Boys group chat
Yeah.
this week,
Yeah.
and I believe it was yesterday morning. You talked about how much awful college basketball is now. You know, you did that after like one of the craziest nights for buzzer beaters of the season between Kentucky LSU, Ole Miss Georgia, and then Boopy Miller from half court to sink Virginia Tech in Dallas. So I
Well,
just want to understand your thoughts
I
around
just
that.
I just am so disappointed with how the sport has changed. I mean, college football is also bad to me, but like I literally can't bet out of conference games, it feels like to me, because I don't know who's what. I don't know who's on what team anymore. Like the college basketball of growing teams together and maybe some transfers coming in for 1 year or something like that, or sitting out a year. Those were the things back in the day. Now it's so hard for me that like honestly, it's brutal, and I wish there's a better way to do it. But I mean, I support players getting paid; they deserve to, and they deserve to be able to move around and not have to get stuck with one coach that puts you in a broom closet or makes you run on a treadmill off the side. I guess that's what Patino does, and he doesn't lose everybody. But still, like it made it a very different game. Still think it's the best postseason of all sports, so I'm into that for sure.
You
Um,
also have to worry about now about point shaving with teams outside of the New Orleans, the NCAA, AT&Ts. It's coming to the Power Conference. The Paul indicted.
ooh, ooh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you saw the clips from the Buffalo Kent State game where a $400,000 wager was put on Kent State to cover the first half. Players number 3 and 10 were indicted from Buffalo. Check out the highlights. I would honestly rather have those guys than Caden Hamilton and Trey Norman on my team.
Oh, well, we could get to that in a little bit. DePaul is actually playing Marquette in just a few hours, I believe.
Under 144. I bet it last night. Under 142. Line moved against me, but I'm still confident.
Okay. Well, you could just say bet under 144 and no one would have known. We're going to go through our biggest games on this list. I have a 1 p.m. start. Might not be in order of tip time because Ben doesn't love doing that. We have the Vanderbilt Commodores, who were just a second ago a 2-point favorite to the Florida Gators. Now they are a 1-point favorite to the Florida Gators. What do you got in this one?
So this line opened at 3.5, and I immediately jumped on the Gators. Vanderbilt, great story. It's honestly hilarious how when we were in business school 5 years ago,
Oof.
we were at the
Ouch.
absolute depths of the program
Ouch.
with Derek Mason patrolling the sidelines and Bryce Drew going 0-18 in conference play and what they've turned this into. Um,
Can I remind you of something?
Indiana football.
No, no. Do you know that the one Vanderbilt basketball game that they won in the 2 years that we were there in conference play, I bet Georgia, and I think Georgia +3. Vandy
Wait, so they went 1-17 and then 0-18 the next
I
year?
believe so. And they covered in the one game that I went to in the crowd. And I really liked that Georgia team. They were really underrated, scrappy, I thought, but showed up to have a bad night that night. And it was hilarious
Well, my biggest
that
memory was when in the 0-18 season when they faced up against number one Tennessee and should have won that game. But who's that dude that played for the Celtics?
yeah,
That guy.
Williams.
Grant Williams set the SEC record for consecutive free throws made in a single game. I think it was like 23 for 23.
Oh yeah. Yep, yep. We saw some really good performances. So back to Memorial Gym. I don't think they've named it after anything yet, though Vanderbilt now has a New York City, Palm Beach, and probably a California campus coming up soon. So I'm sure they're going to name it after something soon. But Vanderbilt, we're a 2-point favorite now, down to one. Total's 162. Tell me how you feel about the Florida guard play.
They suck. Yeah, they're bad. I mean, Boogie Flan made us eat our words. Um, talking about uh, what would you say this? The legality of intercourse with his 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
He went 3 of 6 and then 6 of 7
Woo!
for 2 for 23 points against Tennessee at home. So he made us eat our words. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a big enough sample size. The thing that worries me, Griffin, is Vanderbilt is a very good team. They are also a finesse bitch team.
Ooh.
Now, there's nothing wrong with being a finesse bitch team. Can a finesse bitch team win the national championship? No, probably not. Can a finesse bitch team make the Final Four? Yes. We saw that with Alabama 3 years ago. In terms of
We
finesse
saw that
bitch team,
live. We saw that live
we
even.
did. In terms of finesse bitch teams, they're probably the, top them in Alabama and maybe Nebraska are the big three of FB teams on the in Division One today. The problem is, and Vanderbilt has rushed out to a 16-1 schedule, 16-1 record. They took their first, loss on the chin this week down in Austin to hook them and you guys. I mean, Texas was making some amazing shots in that game. Pope was just unreal with just these super inefficient mid-range jumpers that were just all going in. And then the FAU transfer, Valachusis. I know that's not.
Bocatitis.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
knew
he
something was
dominated.
going
So.
down. I don't know if you heard this, but like I barely hear from my dad ever, and I get a text, "Oh, Bocatitis!" So I knew he was doing something, like literally out of left field after like maybe a New Year's and a happy birthday in October. All of a sudden, my dad's texting me about Bocatitis.
I knew that. I knew that was going to happen when I saw him play in that opener against Duke. I said, this guy is going to rekindle some father-son relationships.
That's what he does.
So Vanderbilt, finesse bitch team, 16-1 record. The problem is they played a lot of finesse bitch teams on their schedule. The only real team, like physical team, they've played and beat is St. Mary's. But St. Mary's is more physical and plodding. They're not physical and explosive. And when you play a physical and explosive team, like this is a bad physical explosive team, but they went to Memphis and we're absolutely in a dogfight with the Tigers in Memphis. They won in OT.
Best bet winner over here. Yes.
But Florida is a physical and an explosive team. I don't know how they're going to contain the Florida front court with Hawk and Condon and Shinliehu. Like Devin McLaughlin, I love him. I love the number 99, but he's going to get eaten up, I think. I bet this immediately when it was saw the line come out at Florida +3.5. I think the Gators win this game straight up. Yes, Tyler Tanner, nickel. Duke Miles can make a million threes and Memorial
Gym.
Coliseum,
Memorial Gym.
Memorial Gym goes nuts.
Almost there. Almost there.
Um,
There's a reason why we didn't go to that many games.
yeah, But yeah, I like Florida here
So I
on
was
the
very
road.
close to playing against Florida this week and didn't do it because I was so concerned about the front court of the Oklahoma Sooners and battling just Woggy and a bunch of, I don't know, 6'6" undersized front quarters, which is generally sometimes a good strategy, I think, in college basketball, and it's certainly worked for the Golden State Warriors way back when they changed the NBA. I don't know how I feel necessarily. I mean, Florida blows out Oklahoma on the road, that's good sign for them. The Tennessee blowout, I feel like was to me a little bit fishy because it was a really close game for most of the first half, and then Tennessee just didn't score basically the last 5 minutes, and then it seemed like they didn't score in the second half either. I am not a believer in the Florida backcourt. That's why I asked you about it. Their front court, I think, is punishing, is so strong, and honestly, what back in the day with North Carolina when they played two bigs, they would basically play volleyball on the rim and they just couldn't get a rebound. That's my concern with Florida front courts and playing weaker ones like Vanderbilt's. I don't love that Vandy's a favorite here, but I'll lay the 1 point. I guess since I said it initially, it was two, so we'll do two. So Florida plus two for Big East Ben. I'll take Vanderbilt minus two at home in Memorial Gymnasium. Move next to Arkansas and Georgia. Right now, spread is Georgia 3 point favorite at home to Arkansas. Totals 180 and a half in this one.
So Georgia coming off a absolute heartbreaker against Ole Miss. I don't know if that again that was one of those crazy last second shots on Wednesday night. Arkansas got absolutely dog walked by Auburn last weekend. We were wrong about that. I mean, the jungle was alive and well. I mean that wasn't even close.
First time for
Um,
everything, man.
but they did bounce back and beat South Carolina 108 to 74 at home. Georgia's home court has their environment has improved. I hate watching those games. I hate that gray floor. It's disgusting, but I mean the home court environment has improved. I think this is going to be just a crazy up and down NBA type game. Georgia, Arkansas 20th in the country in tempo, Georgia 5th in the country in tempo. Neither defenses are in the top 50. I think it's just going to be a wild scoring. Another fun bet would to be on this would be overtime. Georgia's played in four overtime games so
Yeah.
far this season, so I'm pretty sure you can probably get that at like plus 1300, plus 1400. Might be worth a little sprinkle.
Ooh.
But yeah, man, this is going to be an NBA type fast paced affair. I think the guards are absolutely going to go off. Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas. Um, you're gonna have Brazil shooting from the outside. Do you think Malik Ewan is good?
I do.
Because he was awful against Auburn.
So
And he just seems like low.
to me, he's one of those guys that has, like, to be frank, like he was I think a McDonald's All-American, like Gatorade Player of the Year in Florida, went to Florida State and was basically their offense. I think it's been a little bit difficult for him not starting and coming off the bench because to me that's a way different role that he's probably never had in his life. I thought he'd be better in it, I'll say, but I do like what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just missing so many shots at the rim in that Auburn game. I had the over, so I was probably paying closer attention and just
Probably
missed
so.
out by 3 points. But I'm also going to go the over in this game, over 179, I think.
Yeah, 180 and a half. I got it right now, actually. But um, I think Georgia, I mean, we've never been a believer in Georgia. And they're going to have to prove it that we should believe in them. They had one NCAA tournament run when they won the SEC tournament and like had to play two games in a day because there was some leaking going on or something like that way back
That's
when.
an incredible. They got to make a 30 for 30 about
I,
that.
I,
That is
I
such
think
an incredible story.
I want to say they did, but
And then they
um,
were a 14 seed in the tournament, right?
something high, maybe
Yeah.
11, 13, something high. I don't think they won a game. But Mike White, I think we know that he's one of those Nepo babies. His brother's an AD, his dad was an AD. So like I think he's in those roles in a really nice cushy job. And the move from Florida to Georgia overnight was really, really interesting to switch sides of a rivalry like that. But I think he knew his time in Florida was done. I'm not really a lover believer, but I still need to see something from the Arkansas defense, and I haven't seen a lot of it. They have a lot of good polished players, but 3 points on the road is not enough for me to want to get involved there. I'll take the home team in this one as well. We'll move next to BYU, and they're actually visiting Texas Tech. Big East Ben visiting on the road at Texas Tech. Since I made BYU a 4 point favorite at home, oops. They are actually a 4 point underdog, excuse me, a 4 point favorite at Texas Tech. So total.
I knew it was at Texas Tech. I just dyslexic text you.
Got it.
The dyslexing.
You dyslex me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I'm looking forward to you revealing my best or your best bet on the on my date tonight. But I actually don't see a number just yet, so I'm using Torvik on this right now. But BYU 4 point favorites at Tech, totals 158.
I'll get your number.
Get me a number.
I thought it was like -2, maybe.
Okay.
-2.5, Texas Tech.
Wow. Okay, we got a discrepancy here.
Yeah.
That's I guess we'll use DraftKings or where is that FanDuel or something like that?
DraftKings, yeah.
DraftKings. I got a notice from Bet365 that my account was locked, and I was like, I'm permanently banned. I'm like, I don't know, what did I do to deserve that? I haven't touched that in years. Anyway, Texas Tech -2.5. Total is what?
Total is 158.
All right, go ahead.
So BYU has won, I don't know, 13 in a row. Not exactly against great competition. Only top 50 wins in there were back in November, or last top 50 win was December 9th against Clemson, a game where they were down 24 points at halftime and had no business winning. Coming off home
They're a
win
pretty
against.
good second half team, as one at Big East Ben learned and was talking a bunch of shit to me way back when via text message, if you recall.
About UConn?
UConn, all in separate texts over and over
Yeah,
again. Yeah,
yeah.
not great.
Um,
That was not a win though. So is that where the streak
right.
started?
Yeah, that's our only loss on the season. 2 point loss to UConn.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, 6 point win this week against TCU at home.
Big favorite too. I was like,
Yeah,
I
I was
gotta
wrong.
do it.
I was wrong about TCU being giant killers. They're not. They
I
caught
mean,
some teams off guard in the beginning, and
they did not giant kill Arizona, unfortunately, and it looked like honestly that final score was kind of fortunate for TCU, despite being in around the cover range as we got
yeah,
down the
I mean
stretch.
Arizona is so unbelievable, dude. They just like the difficulty of shot making they can pump out is insane.
I'm still not a full. I mean, we're not covering Arizona on this pod. I'm still not a full believer, but I mean, they're making it harder and harder for me to stop believing or not believe.
They're so freaking deep, dude. Like Braden
Really
Burries
deep,
is insane.
really deep, really big, and I think it has a little bit of a West Coast Florida feel to me, a little bit. Not a lot of
Karchinov,
guards.
like
Not a lot
he's
of guards, just
yeah.
big dudes that are really, really much larger than their opponents.
Yeah. Texas Tech coming off. Well, they beat Utah at home. Did not cover the spread. I think that was a 17.5 point spread, won by 14. 2 point win at Colorado. I was thinking about going to that game, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad I didn't because my in-person best bet was either going to be Texas Tech -5.5 or Colorado uh, +2.5 first half. And Colorado was down, I think, like 20 plus at the break. Made it a game at the end, but it wasn't real. Like I think they outscored Texas Tech by like 13 points over the last 10 minutes, but it was never really in jeopardy for Texas Tech, but obviously they didn't cover. These are actually one of the thinnest teams in matchup of one of the thinnest teams in the country. BYU 300th in the country in bench minutes. Texas Tech 360th in the country in bench minutes.
So when they both play Baylor, we're gonna have a really, really big talk about how many guys are gonna actually show up in this game and check in.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Baylor doesn't have a JT Top, and Baylor doesn't have an AG Debinsa. Baylor doesn't have a Christian Anderson. Baylor doesn't have a Rob Bright. Baylor 7.5 point dogs at Lawrence
Kansas.
Fieldhouse tonight.
Yeah,
The new Kansas. I don't know. Like it sucks, man. Kansas unders are dead. Like with Peterson, like they don't play defense and they rule on offense.
I mean, seeing KU a 4 point dog to Iowa State at home was a just maniacal number that I never thought I'd ever see, honestly, while Bill
Yeah,
Self is still coaching. Back
yeah.
to BYU at Texas Tech. Texas Tech 2.5 point favorite, totals 158.
I'm gonna roll with Texas Tech at United Supermarkets Arena. This will be BYU's first true road test of the season. Yes, they went to the Octagon of Doom. Who cares? That's dead. And won, and then they did win the Holy War only by 5 against a really bad Utah team. So this is gonna be their first elite test versus an elite team in a very hostile environment. I'm gonna back the Red Raiders. Guns up.
Yeah, guns up if your grades don't get that high. I agree, especially with a lot of my office that went to Texas Tech. That place, speaking of tough environments, that is certainly one of them. I would say Utah in a rivalry game should be Holy War on a hardwood, should be a big win for BYU, even when the teams are that different. And probably it's a good reason to back Utah a lot of the time in that game or whoever the big underdog is. But I'm with you on Texas Tech. Love them at home. I think BYU is clearly really talented, getting number one recruits somehow, depending on what service you look at. But I think it's the spot they slip up. I was really hoping that we get Tech as a dog, but we'll see if if the line moves that direction. I think at 3, I'm playing it right away, but I'm going to wait and see if this one comes down a little bit as we move forward. Last game on our list is appropriate for Big East Ben and the Big East Conference flag behind his head. If you're watching this Apple Podcast and on Spotify, you can search Betting the Pitch, or on on YouTube, you can go at the real _G Warner, and the same on Instagram, where the reel will come out summarizing our episodes and our best bets. We got the Johnnies. We got St. John's. They're on the road. Line just opened up here. We got St. John's, a pick'em on the road at Villanova, totals 149.5.
So if you like the battle for the second best team in the worst Power Five conference, then this is your Super Bowl. This is a big one. St. John's might be figuring things out, dude. Since that loss at Providence, they thoroughly
That was a
handled
bad one. That was a bad one. Providence is a joke.
Yeah, but it was 50%. The Garden was 50% Providence fans. So according to Patino, that's why they lost.
Yeah, I believe that. Yep, they were all at Tom Clark's pre-gaming for sure.
Hey, that's the Patriots bar there.
Oh.
That place is a dump. It stinks.
That was always where the donors.
No, it's Professor Tom's.
No, sorry, I'm thinking of.
PJ? I have a friend named Tom Clark.
Maybe
is that what you're thinking of?
No, I think it's PJ Clark's actually. But yes, you do have a friend named Tom Clark.
Okay, so
he's the Apple guy with a really mean wife.
Apple guy.
No?
His wife's not mean.
Oh,
he's an Apple guy.
There's an Apple guy with a really mean wife. I thought. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. They're in San Francisco.
Maybe he said that. I don't know. I think she's pleasant.
Oh. The one that I talked to the night of your drunk wedding, but I met them before. She was rough. She was like a finance girly in San Francisco or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super mean. Big time.
To you?
Big time mean. And I wasn't even hitting on her. Yeah. Believe me, I'm used to mean chicks in this town, Dallas for sure. But this one I was like, whew, who are you? And she's like, oh, that's my wife. And I was like, okay. Not talking to you anymore.
I like hopefully
they listen. Hey, everyone. How are you, Clark? Enjoy your dinner.
I don't think they listen.
No. Good.
So
St. John's, not adding it. Sorry, we don't have this budget for it.
Since St. John's beat Providence, beat Butler handily in Indy, dominated Creighton at the Chi Health Center. I was on Creighton, that awful bet. And then tough first half, but figured it out in the second half against Marquette to cruise to a 24-point win. I don't know how Villanova is winning these games, man. They are Bryce Lindsey is a good point, or Caden Lewis is a good point guard, and Bryce Lindsey is a good shooter, but they're just so unimpressive from a talent level, and I don't think Kevin Willard is that extraordinary of a coach. I just think they've been very fortunate. Where do they rank in luck? I can't find it. I think they just slow these slow these games down to a crawl, and they're just getting some positive variance on their opposition's possessions. It makes no sense why they're 14-3.
I mean, you could argue that, I mean, for watching the Providence game, like the amount of open shots that they got against PC, but I don't think that's a Villanova thing. I think that's a PC struggling thing. And to me, part of why I backed Providence that night, not of course knowing that Jason Edwards would be out after playing his season high in minutes the game before. Thank you. Um, but they were ripping shots. I mean, dude, the amount of fallaways and like rimmed in 3-pointers that Devin Askew was making from the parking lot, like to start that game. Oh my God. Speaking of the parking lot, since that happened there way back when, Providence. But dude, Devin Askew, long journeyman career, to say the least, from the highs of being a McDonald's All-American or whatever, playing Kentucky, the lows of spending a year at Long Beach, and now at Villanova as like a leadership guy, and hearing these ridiculous idiot college basketball like commentators who literally have not even read a book about any of these teams until they're sitting there courtside. Like, oh, Devin Askew, just great leader, had a really great career, just had a few stops. Yeah, he's had literally the maximum.
Really great leader. Who said that? John
like,
Fanta?
Literally, they were like, it was not surprisingly not Fanta. It was I want to say Owens, from former coach at St. John's, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. It was Fox broadcast. Dave Clark or Dave Sims, who I like, but oh my God, and he's also older than old. But anyway, let's go back to Nova. Pick 'em.
Also we got to pour one out to another member of that 2021 Kentucky recruiting class. Cameron Fletcher, officially dismissed from the High Point basketball team.
I mean, the fall from Cameron Fletcher from Kentucky to Florida State to High Point is significant. Yeah, Dave Sims, 72 years old, still young, 72 years young, actually.
Anyway, I think St. John's is figuring this out. I think Villanova is overrated. If this game was at the Finn, I might change my tune. It is not. It is at the Wells Fargo Center, or whatever the Wells Fargo Center is called now. Totally different environment. I'm back in Patino. I'm back in the Johnnies. Number 2 in the worst conference in the Power 5.
Where the only conference that's displayed on this podcast in the video versions, if you're watching it. I'll take Villanova at home, pick them. I'm not really a huge believer, but I really do like Tyler Perkins. I'm glad he stuck around, kind of surprised that he did. Seems like everyone changes teams every single season, especially when there's a coaching change. Got some concerns definitely about Villanova inside, but I think playing at home does help them quite a bit. So I'll take the home pick 'em right now in Villanova. And so that brings us to the best bet portion of the show. I do have a nice surprise for Big East Ben. I've updated a Canva, and so I will be updating that, posting that soon, and you'll see a beautiful background instead of just whatever the heck happens when you export a Zoom. For the best bets on this episode, Big East Ben, we went 1-1 on our last episode. You can follow him on Twitter, Big East Ben, on Instagram at Big East Ben. Where are you going for your best bet on this episode?
We talked about finesse bitch teams earlier in the show. I got a great matchup of finesse bitch teams in Bloomington, Indiana. Iowa takes on Indiana and Darren DeVries. I'm never going to pronounce that correctly.
It's all right. It's a bit now, I think.
Spread is 1.5, -1.5 Indiana. This line makes no sense to me, especially because when Nebraska visited last week, it was -3.5 Indiana. And especially since Indiana should have won that game versus Nebraska. I think the lead was high as 18, 20 points at one point. And Iowa has not proven their mettle on the road this season. Yes, they have played some tough teams, Purdue, Michigan State, Iowa State, but they also lost at Minnesota. Don't have a single true road win on the season. Dropped 3 in a row. Yes, Nebraska has also dropped 2 in a row, so I think the desperation factor is even. I'm going to back the Hoosiers to win at Assembly Hall, and they don't have to do it by much.
1.5 point favorites are the Indiana Hoosiers. For my best bet, the real underscore G Warner across all social media platforms. Patreon.com/real underscore G Warner if you want my plays across all sports, college basketball, soccer, the NFL, whatever the heck's being played at this point. I think I'm going to do some hockey during the playoff, or excuse me, during the Olympics too. For my best bet, I'm going to go to the Georgia Bulldogs, 3 point favorites at home to Arkansas. I do like Arkansas a lot, but I haven't seen much from their defense, and I'll back the home crowd. Go Dogs. Sick 'em. Or whatever they do in that commercial, and then they ridicule this guy for being the barker. I love that. Hate the commercial, but love how it gets shit on because he deserves it.
Allstate.
Yeah. Also, ran into my. Did I tell you about the girl that I met when I was at the Georgia A&M?
Yep, we talked
Georgia
about this
Alabama?
last week. Malik Ewan, Trevor
No.
Brazile.
Oh no, that different one. She went to
Oh,
Arkansas. No. This other girl I actually ran into her last night. Met her at the a UGA watch party and turned around. I said, I didn't see you barking. She goes, "Ooh," and I was like, what the fuck?
a
Anyway,
UGA watch party for what?
for the SEC championship game football a little while
Oh,
ago.
so this was a while ago.
Yeah, I saw her last night, so I gotta send her a text, say what's up.
You got a, national championship game prediction for Monday?
Yeah, I think IU is gonna win. They're gonna win a blowout, and we're gonna be like, why are these two teams in a college football championship game?
Yeah, me too. Also, just while we're on the topic of college football, how crazy it is that we live in an era where the number two projected quarterback, first round pick with a bullet says, "Nah, I'm good. I'll just go back to school."
And it's not even like he was going to the Raiders. I mean, it's a weird life, and to me, it makes no sense because you're supposed to start that second contract at the youngest age possible. He's like literally just giving away millions of dollars. Like whoever's telling him stuff is an idiot, and he wants to go play for a team that just got rocked by IU, or is he going to transfer to IU?
Well, I
Like on
mean,
the point,
is he giving away millions of dollars?
he's going to make that much at Oregon. Phil Knight's just going to literally
Well,
drop
I mean,
his.
how are like rookie contracts structured now?
I
Are
mean,
you just saying like down the line, like the
what?
time value of money?
Yes,
Obviously,
yes and no,
yeah,
but when you enter your second contract, that's where it is. It's not about your first. I mean, you're betting on yourself, of course, but like if you suck as a number two pick, it's not going to really work out very well. But if you're a good quarterback and you sign at 24, 25, 26 versus 27, 28, 29, every year younger you are when you sign for that second deal, you get more money, essentially how it goes.
for
And you
sure,
probably
for
have
sure.
more to negotiate in the future after that as well, if everything goes according to plan. So it's a really dumb thing, but he didn't ask me to be his financial advisor. So I guess we'll watch him in college football next year, try to do the same thing and make it to the playoff because there's about 10 teams that seem to be eligible or available that and then we're going to put two group of five teams to get absolutely sandwiched for a while. I don't know. I think the sport's broken, but I don't really know how to fix it. And I got to say, the NFL seems to get better to me every year. So I'm more and more interested in down for a big weekend. While we're here, NFL picks, you got them?
I like the Pats.
Pats are,
I like Buffalo getting it.
I'll read them to you. I'll read you the numbers. So currently, Buffalo Bills plus 1.5 totals what is 46.
I like Buffalo. Broncos are frauds.
I feel that way too. Niners, 7 point underdogs. Total is 45. And we're seeing some leaking news coming out about Sam Darnold
Sam
having a
Darnold, right?
bad oblique. Think his
Is
PR
there
company put that
is
out
Drew
there?
Lock their backup?
I think so, but
Ooh,
I can look
that's
that up.
bad.
I can look that up. But like, why are they floating that little information? Like, he hasn't played in 2 weeks. Like, what are we talking? Like, when did this? Is this just because he's gonna suck tomorrow, and we're gonna have to all just that's him paving the road for it all? I don't know.
I didn't know about the Niners that like Jawan Jennings was a
Mhm.
higher rated quarterback coming out of high school than like Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold.
I did not know that. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Drew Lock is a backup, and then Jalen Milrow if we get the third string.
Jalen Milrow. He got drafted. Wow. Okay.
Might have been.
I like Niners.
I like the Niners getting 7. I'm a little worried about their offense without Kittle, but they've done that before because he's always hurt. Texans 3.5 point favor. Excuse me, underdogs. Wow, at the New England Patriots. Total is 40.5. You said you like the Pats. I think I like the Texans defense a lot. I'm really worried about their offense without Nico Collins. It seems like Christian Gonzalez is going to play. And I think I might just back the defenses and play under 40.5. Rams at Bears. Rams 3.5 point favorites. Total is 48.
That is so disrespectful to Chicago. Chicago.
It is, but
Like
can they
they're
literally
playing with
be?
they have voodoo magic, dude. Like it's insane.
They literally are not covering every game and come back from the dead. Maybe it's only against the Packers, but it seems to happen like 9 or 10 times
Well,
so far
remember
this
that
season.
Cincinnati game? That was like the
Dude, I
craziest
mean,
game of the
they're
season.
all nuts. Like, I gotta say, Caleb Williams is not my favorite guy, but he's been really fun to back because he's put a lot of money back into my coffers. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna go over 48, even though I'm a little concerned about the Rams dealing with the cold, which I think makes me like the dog as well, just like
And
you.
there's something wrong with Stafford's fingers, I think.
Yeah, when it's going to be 18 degrees, I'm sure that'll help too. So that is actually an NFL edition and a college basketball, the Need for Seeds college basketball podcast presented to you by the Big Betting the Pitch podcast network.
And
Like we
college
talked today.
football.
And college football. We gave it all out today. I guess that's what happens when we have a little extra time. And I'm going on a triple date tonight. We're going to some chain restaurant, and I'm going to see exactly how enjoyable my life is tonight, especially on 3 hours of sleep, where I almost called out of work this morning because my friend was like, just call out, just call out, just call out as he buys another shot. And I was like, I feel like
When did you turn into like Keith Richards?
dude, I'm just, 2026 has been a bender for me so far. I'm really looking forward to sobriety. I don't know when it's coming though.
I'm still doing January strong, and this is actually the fifth day of a juice cleanse
Oh,
I'm on. So
wow.
I'm very lightheaded and very loopy. So if my picks don't work out,
Blame it
blame
on
Raw
that.
Generation.
Well, Sam Darnold's blaming it on his oblique. Biggie Ben's blaming it on the juice cleanse. I just wonder, do the Zins hit extra hard when you're not eating?
They keep me going. They're like it would be impossible without
Yeah,
it.
I bought some recently. I bought some whatever not Zins that were on sale at 7-Eleven. It got 2 for 1. And I was like, this is,
Velos?
it might have been Velos. I was like, these are not anywhere as good, is what I thought. So maybe it wasn't Velos. I can't remember. I was looking for the can last night. I could not find it. So
Zones?
no, there's an on too, I believe, right?
Ons, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. But that was the end of the Need for Speed College Basketball podcast presented to you by the Betting Pitch Podcast Network. At Biggie Spen gave out his NFL picks. We gave out college basketball, of course, and college football picks. We'll be back with you at some point next week to talk more college basketball. Enjoy your weekend. Get your best bets. We gave out the Georgia Bulldogs 3-point favorites. And Biggie Spen, your best bet was
Who? Hoosiers?
Hoosiers -1.5. We'll see you next week.